What is up, guys? This is the Jumper T16 Pro, and one of the first things I realized after getting a hold of this is that the two switches on the top here, the SE switch and then the SG switch, they are little 3-position switches up in these corners there. And what I noticed is that my hands naturally wanted to rest right where those switches lived. So I went ahead and modified the controller, desoldered these 3-position switches out of there and replaced them with little 3D printed plugs. Now my hand is indexing right on the switch positions basically, and it's very comfortable. So if you're coming from a QX7, which is what I was doing, you have your arm switch, this is what I use, and then your momentary switch over here, and having those other little 3-position switches was just completely in the way, and I couldn't. It was just frustrating to try to rest my hands naturally up there with the switches in the way. So what I've done, I'm gonna turn this off real quick. So what I've done is in the back here, take off your module, take out the battery. There's screws in the 4 corners here. So up there, up here. And then you actually have to remove this little rubber grip here from the sides. It actually just peels off here. There we go. And then there's another screw on the side. So there's one on each side of those. Once you get those off, press that back in. Once you get those off, you actually need to take off the 2 screws that are in the top here, okay? That will then allow you to take off the back cover. Once you have the back cover off, you will first need to remove the gimbals themselves, or at least unscrew the 4 screws. Okay, you need to remove the screws holding in the sliders on the side, and then basically pull those away. Leave the ribbon cables and everything connected. Just get them out of your way. By design, these switches here are actually on the same PCB, and so you'll see it when you open it up. But these 2 switches share the same PCB, and so you have to go through the process of desoldering these things from the board. So it's not overly difficult. If you have some soldering wick or a little solder sucker gun here, you can get it done. But that's the hardest part of this whole thing, is just desoldering the little switches off the PCB board. So once again you have the gimbals out, you have the slider switch out, you will then be able to unscrew these little nuts that are holding the switches in. So they just unscrew off, and then you'll be able to slide this thing through the body and remove it, work on it, and then reinstall just the single long switch back into the housing itself, and then secure the nut back on. The process to put it back together is just the reverse. So if you've gotten that far, just do the opposite and put your radio all back together. So the last thing you'll want to do is change the warnings for the setup here. So I'll show you what was happening before. So let's pretend like these switches are turned on, right? Pretend like these were these ones that we just removed.
Welcome to Jumper TX.
As you boot up, you're going to get a warning.
Switch warning.
Okay, this is what's going to happen right after you remove those switches, okay? You're going to see warnings for switches E and G, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the model, going to scroll up inside of model setup, and you're going to see these switch positions here. So you can see A, B, C, D, and I've turned off E and G. So as you just select there, scroll over, and then you just select which one you're gonna do. So you can either turn it off, it's gonna be the little X, which disables it, and I've also found that the minus is equivalent to turning it off. So I recommend you just kill them with a little X there, and that's all you need to do. Now when you turn this thing off and on, there you go. So there's no warnings. It's not looking for these 2 switches anymore. And now you don't have to worry about pressing the little scroll wheel every time saying to ignore that error. So That is what I've done. These little 3D printed plugs, I'll toss them up on Thingiverse or something like that. There's nothing special about them, but they do like press fit inside there, and so it actually takes a good amount of force to press them in. There's a little flange that catches on the backside inside the radio there to keep it from popping back out on yourself. But so that is a good amount of force that you have to put in to press those on there. But now they are plugged up and good to go. So anyways, hope this is useful. I'm not going to dive into the whole tear down of the radio, but this is just something that I did and you might find useful for yourself. So that is all. Later, guys.